humans. We have another meeting for conference organization, a sync meeting. But as usual, before I continue, I actually have to double check if you can hear me, people in the live stream. I mean, okay, so I see it started on YouTube, which is perfect. So yeah, now we can continue. So as usual, please remember that this meeting about conference organization is also live streamed to different AsyncAPI accounts. Yeah, and if you don't want to join Zoom, Jonas, do you have live stream opened?
Yes.
Can you, so I'm gonna be pasting links in Zoom. Can you paste them in YouTube? Because I just noticed that I'm logged in with an account of my kids from their private YouTube. So the first thing is, so this meeting is live streamed to different accounts of AsyncAPI, so you can watch it in one of the channels. I just shared the link that also Jonas will share in YouTube. So, but please keep in mind that we're reading during the meeting, we're reading comments only from YouTube live chat. So that's it if it comes to organization. And yeah, some folks are joining still to the meeting, so let's wait. Let's wait a bit for others. In the meantime, I'm gonna also share a link into events channel on Slack.
Do you remember that fix that you did for me so I can share links on Zoom?
Yeah.
I think you have to do it again because.
Did you change account or?
No, Fran took me off the group thing and then added me again because we didn't have enough for Ace to have access. So
from YouTube?
Now the Zoom account thing.
Yeah, but it's YouTube where I give you moderator rights. So maybe I just did something wrong. If you still cannot
like
paste.
I have to manually do it. But it's whatever.
Okay.
I'm just gonna keep sharing.
Okay, so I shared links in events channel. So I think we can start. It's already 5 past. So let me share a screen as usual.
You have people talking in chat, by the way, in YouTube, just FYI.
Oh, already. Wait, then I will drop them to the other screen. So many buttons. Yeah. Thanks for to folks watching the recording and already engaging in the live chat. So we see it. We will watch your questions. So yeah, I just started sharing my screen. So just for folks that just joined the meeting for the first time or watched the recording for the first time, the purpose of this meeting is basically to synchronize and share updates on where we are at if it comes to the conference organization. So we organize conference in November, and yeah, different parties are responsible for different things, and it's just like a project management meeting. But I don't want to call it project management because nobody will come. So let me just go quickly through the items to check the status. So this is actually that's finished, so not much to talk about. So the CFP, the current status is that like it's already in progress. CFP final date, extension date was set to basically end of the second week of August.
July 13th.
Exactly. And then we and it was said like this because I think that's the maximum, because we have to take into consideration that there might be people that come from big companies, and they have to have time to actually ask for budget to travel if they get selected. So we can't really, I can't imagine that we are waiting longer than August, and we still have to select talks and set the schedule. So that's where we are at. Latest information I have from Linux Foundation is that we have 21 submissions, and 26 additional 26 are in progress. Of course, we don't know how many of them will be completed, but that's what data says now. Alejandra started a separate thread to collect names of people that are happy to help with selection of CFP. People leave comments there. And also next 2 weeks I'm out. So basically the whole communication with Linux Foundation, I handed over also to Alejandra. So I'm not a bottleneck in the communication. So, and not the only person that knows people from Linux Foundation. So we should not be delayed by holidays here. And yeah, Alejandra, do you want to add something? Am I missing something? Do you think something important is to highlight as well?
Oh, no, but I want to make sure that I'm not missing anything important. So I do have a few questions, if that's cool.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, cool. So I want to make sure that I'm, doing it right and I don't mess it up. Okay, cool. So we already have a list of people, more than a huge group of volunteers, but I was thinking not to add the green done until the CFP is actually closed, because then we have more time for people to, say, hey, I want to help out too. So that's why I'm thinking it makes sense for that not to be green. And then as far as like promoting the CFP, I was wondering, I know I put my name there to help as coordinator, but I have only posted about the conference, I think twice so far. I should be doing a lot more, right? I was wondering, like, what do you suggest?
So, I mean, we have still 2 weeks. So I think it would definitely make sense to remind folks, like at least 2 tweets, like 2 weeks before, so maybe even tomorrow. And then another one next Friday to remind people that 1 week left. That definitely makes sense. But maybe we should also let you know. We did not let you know. So one thing is the public promotion of CFP, but yeah, basing on our experience, we know that, and I think I talked to you about it. That's why you also talk directly with Google Season of Talks participants. What we've learned from previous years is that most of the CFPs we get from people when we actually approach them directly, because we know them from the community, we know that they have something to say. So we're asking them to do CFP. So that's, of course, happening, let's say, behind the scenes, because yeah, we're approaching people privately. So I know that you, Alejandra, do it. I do it as well with folks. And also I know Fran, because he has also his contacts, he's asking different people to submit for CFP to make them aware about AsyncAPI Conference. But
yes, I'm really proud too, because of our interns, the GSOD interns. I'm so proud of them. We have 6 CFPs coming from them, and 5 of them have applied. And before I had my one-on-one calls with them, they were, they all started the call telling me, I have nothing to give a talk about. I'm new, I'm young, I don't know anything. I barely understand my code base, blah, blah, blah. And then by the end of the call, everyone had a very specific and unique CFP that they really were actually passionate to talk about. One of the interns ended up saying, you know what, I'm going to submit 2 CFPs. And I was like, beep, yeah. I almost forgot this thing is live streamed. Whoops. Okay. Right.
You beeped it, so it's good.
I beeped myself. I caught myself. So yeah. All right. So to make sure I don't get distracted and get back on topic. Yes. Okay. So I have added a note that I'm going to send to you no later than tomorrow, 2 more tweets that we can send out so that more people can be aware of it. And I've also added to my notes to add 2 more similar cross-posting LinkedIn posts because it makes sense to post to both platforms.
Yeah.
And then if I might, I do have one last question.
Mhm.
Actually, no, that's a lie. I have 2 questions. So the next question that I have is, July 13, I'm assuming right after that, soon after, Claudia from Linux will email me all the CFPs and abstracts so that now we can start the voting process. So like, does the community need me to open a spreadsheet and then just share it privately in DMs over Slack? And I'm wondering a little bit about that since I asked, just yesterday in the thread, if people voting, if they want to vote about making their vote public or anonymous in the CFP review process, since we did that last year, and I assume people this year will want to tell me what they want to do or not. So anyway, that's what I was thinking I needed to do. Does that sound accurate?
Yeah, so it's actually very good questions. So, but there's no silver bullet. I can just share how we did it in the past. So, but it's just engage with the folks that already volunteered to review CFP, what they think about it. But so last year, what we did is I took the spreadsheet from Linux Foundation. I made a copy so I don't break their data, and I basically shared. I extended the spreadsheet with columns that represented the name of every person that was sharing the votes, right? I've put it in this spreadsheet. And then separately, I was asking every single CFP reviewer to provide me with scores. I think last year it was a score 1 to 10. Like that you value a given proposal 1 to 10. And they were just sharing it. They did not share it directly in the spreadsheet, so they don't influence with their voice, the voice of other reviewers. And then at one day, I manually put it all in the spreadsheet, summarized, and we knew like what's going in and what's not. And data was not anonymized. And the approach I had there was that basically I knew what proposals are, from whom the proposals are coming from. So for example, if I knew that I have a proposal from Fran, I knew that I cannot accept him as a reviewer. So that was the approach. But I know many people had, many people, like I got feedback that few people had mixed feelings that we did not anonymize names and gender. That it could like influence votes, even though if like you can imagine, like Jonas probably was afraid that he might offend Fran if he doesn't vote for Fran's proposal. Although I doubt it.
Jonas, I don't like that would require him having a heart, wouldn't it?
Did you hear it, Jonas?
Oh, he did. That's why he's laughing so hard.
So yeah, and answering comment from Jonas, so the platform only gives you a way to submit CFPs and provide schedule, but they don't have this kind of voting. So we need to do it separately, and I think the best is really ask, because I have like, for example, I don't have strong opinion if it should be anonymized or not. Because like, again, I'm biased, and for me it doesn't matter what's written there. I just look on the proposal. But yeah, I don't think we had time last year, so maybe like for the voting it's still 2 years, 2 months, 2 weeks. It's still 2 weeks for the voting, so maybe like people that will review CFPs, maybe they want to share like what they think is the best. Like, should it all be anonymized, and like even the company name should be anonymized, and we should just see title and proposal, or not?
Okay, I will make sure to get everyone's vote on both of those topics. And I mean, honestly speaking, even for myself, I am definitely going to feel biased if I see the abstracts and saw gender, for example, that alone. I mean, let's be honest. I want as many women as possible speaking at the conference. So I would totally unconsciously have this bias where I would want to vote less on some men talks and like vote more on the women talks. And so like, obviously like that's that is bias. And so I do think it's an important that we all need to be aware that we all have unconscious bias, and that can definitely influence negatively a CFP review process. So I wanted to make sure that I had a good workflow for getting everyone's vote on that to make sure everyone votes. And then if I may, I had one last question.
Yeah, but just want to agree with you because I just remember why I actually did not vote last year, because I was afraid that I will vote being biased by the name of the company. Because of course I was like, from my perspective, it would be cooler to see cool company names in the schedule. So that's why I said like, no, I can't vote because I'm gonna be influenced. But yeah, so I agree with you. Yeah, ask the question.
Okay, cool. So then the last question I wanted to make sure I knew about, when we go to the last point of setting the schedule, as we all know, in conferences, there's always like these different tracks per day. And then from what I understand, what we're doing is that we're going to have a single track, no hybrid tracks to jump into. And then the next question that I had is, are we doing like last year, where we have the first day is a contributor day, and then we have maybe a day of workshops, and then maybe the last day is, just talks? Is that something that we also submit to vote to the community? Because I wasn't really sure what we were thinking there.
Yeah. So for this year, we did not, like at the beginning, we did not say that like first day should be contributor day only. For this year, I think we can experiment, like do the mix. I don't have a strong opinion. I know that from last year, contributor day was the most popular on YouTube. If it comes to the view. So yeah, to maybe increase the view rate, we should mix it with other talks in different days. And I think it's fair if we make such a decision, especially publicly admitting that we do the mix of talks.
Okay.
And yes, no tracks, as you said, because we at the beginning, like we said, and nobody objected. So we said like it's the first time we do the event, and it's more about like investment into the community, to see the community. So that's why I was like pushing to actually have one track where we have like one big room, so so speakers get actually a lot of viewers and listeners. And then it's not huge, like not a huge place with some conferences room when people are getting lost on the corridors, but it's a one room and then one waiting room where we can just after the break talk with people and easily find each other. So that was the idea. Of course, with the venue, it's a different topic. We're not yet sure if it's possible, but yeah, to answer your question in short, yeah, one track. But no, this like it's optional if it's one first day contributor day or contributor talks mixed with other talks.
Okay, perfect. So that's really amazing then. I agree with you that this actually gives us more flexibility to keep people more awake. So from personal experience, when I've set up schedules for community events and like mini conferences before, what I like to do is, since I kind of know how, I know how people are, and a lot of people are super awake to do a 2-hour-long or 1-hour-long workshop in the morning, but put the workshops in the afternoon and you're killing people, right? So from previous experience, I like to put the harder, brainier stuff in the morning, and then I mix it up a little bit. And especially agree with you that when people are sharing personal experiences, people love those personal stories. And so that ends up being accidentally very great content for the end of the day, because it's not super brainy, you're not like building something, you're just sitting and listening to somebody else talk about their experience. And it's like a more low-key way of learning that doesn't tire you out. So yeah, that sounds great. And then can you remind me, so then when are we aiming to have the schedule set up? Mid-August or?
So mid-August, end of CFP, then 1 week for voting and 1 week for schedule.
Oh, okay. So after July 13, we have a week to complete the CFP review process. And then the week after is when we want to complete the schedule to set it up for the platform.
Yeah. Optimistically.
Okay, cool. Yay. I now feel 100% ready to do my best to not mess this up. So yay. Okay, cool. Thanks so much.
Okay. Then the next item, satellite events. I think we're gonna remove it because nobody volunteered yet to coordinate it. But yeah, for now I'm gonna leave it as it doesn't block any other item. Coordinate budget. Yeah, we still don't know the cost of the venue, so not much to coordinate. Conference promotion. Yeah, we still don't have final information. And even the registration process, even the prices for the tickets, nothing is in place. Do we have Ace on the call? Actually, let me check the. Oh no, so not sure what about the banners generation. So that's yeah, that's something I will follow up offline with Ace, and I see some discussion in the chat. Yeah, so there was a question so for others watching the recording, so there's a question in the chat from Jonas. Is there a quota of specific talk length you are looking for, 10 short ones, 4 long ones, or is that gonna be based on what will be accepted? Yeah, no restrictions. Yeah, in the end, I agree with what Alejandra wrote, like whatever reviewers will like, we should accept, no quotas, I think, as well. And then schedule setup is also super flexible. We don't have to have 8 talks or even 7 talks a day. If we think that there's a place for something interesting to do in the middle of the day, let's talk about it. Sponsors. Yeah, so the prospectus is like almost ready. So if you want to see it, just go to the linked discussion. We're just not yet aware of what prices should be there in the sponsor tier because we still don't have final costs. There's a question from Jonas, another about CFP. How many talks will be accepted? And very good answer from Alejandra. Depends on who pays me under. No, sorry, I thought she is actually giving a right answer. So Alejandra wrote, depends on who pays me under the table more. I would say, like some last year, we didn't, like, again, upfront, we did not say how many talks we will actually, I can't follow the chat like when I'm speaking. It's another time when these people distract me. The last year, what we did was basically like we had voting, we sorted it by the number of votes, and then started setting up a schedule so we could see what really can get in, what not. Because it was fully online, so we were taking into account long breaks, so people can go to their stuff for a break. So we did not have a hard quota for how many talks will be accepted. It's all about the final schedule that we will design.
But we do have an upper limit, right? Like how many talks there can be in those span of 3 days, because like when it was online, we could extend it, right? Like based on how many days. Now it's a little bit more restrictive.
No, I think it's still restrictive. I mean, like with online, we could not really extend it. Like we had also like hours limit, let's say, especially because we were trying to satisfy different time zones. So we started late, and then we couldn't really run late, even later, because like people were tired. So here we of course, like looking on the number of the proposals, we have 21, 26 in the pipeline. Maybe we're going to end up having 50, would be amazing, because then we can think about really having meetups for those that didn't make it. But what I'm trying to say is that like we're going to get, let's say 50. And of course, like in 3 days, you're not going to make it like 50 talks in 3 days. So that's why there is some limit, but I don't think it's possible to say now like what the limit is. Because I think at least like nobody now asks these questions when we talk about schedule. I mean, if you need it, like we can start this discussion already now. Like Alejandra can maybe start it, like engage to already start defining like what time we want to start, what time we want to finish, how long we want to have the break in the middle, etc. And then more or less we can say how many talks are accepted. But because we don't have quotas on, let's say, only 5 lightning talks or only 2 tutorials, then yeah, it's hard to say. Like lightning talks are super shorter. And Alejandra wrote also, I can propose that template schedule to get an idea of how many talks we can fit. Yeah. Okay. Does that answer your question, Jonas?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So I think I talked about the prospectus. So yeah, so Barbania did great job there already. Like we have like we had this, I think I talked about it already 2 weeks ago. So we had these examples from Linux Foundation. We picked what's the best, and it's there. It's just about like money. Venue, that sucks. That sucks. I hoped with Linux Foundation support, we're gonna have answers sooner. But so for now, the sourcing manager from Linux Foundation shared with us that basically they had a list because Linux Foundation has their own list of venues, possible venues in different cities, countries. So they contacted the venues in Barcelona. And they did not receive even single confirmation that the dates for our needs are actually available at their location. So, and they asked the question like, how strongly opinionated are we about having it in Barcelona or maybe actually different city, or how much opinionated we are about the dates. So like, in case you think differently, I already answered to them that at least looking on the amount of votes we had from people, I think we cannot say now that instead of Barcelona, it's going to be Canary Island, because there were many votes on Barcelona. And the next one had really like, the difference between the first and the second was very big. And with dates, it looked like there is the alternative is possible. So my answer to them was I sent a link to a discussion where Sergio did his own research, because Sergio is from Barcelona. So he also suggested some venues. So I asked Linux Foundation that, okay, so please additionally check the venues suggested by Sergio, if they are available in given dates. And also I asked them, like, if they do not respond, then let's see the other date. I sent them, I think it was 9th November. So the week after, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So there's a question from, so just before I read the question from Fran. So yeah, if you think like we should change the message to Linux Foundation, just please let me know so I can share it. Also, I asked Barbanio when I will be out next 2 weeks to, I already introduced Barbanio to Linux Foundation folks responsible for venue. So she will have contact in case we need to change something. And the question from Fran is, how many people do we expect in the venue? Like, how do we expect people, how many people you mean we will expect to join the conference? So because it's a first time we're doing it, the assumption was at the very beginning that it's approximately 100 people. So that's what we talked to Venue about. That it's one big room with
100 people.
100 people. Yeah.
I think I may have another venue. I'll suggest it later.
Yeah, sure. I'm if also because in this to-do list I don't have this discussion linked. So maybe there are some. Also have a look on the suggestions from. Oh my God. Jesus, I hate this Zoom that it's overlapping my address bar. Just go away. Oh yeah.
You should be able to drag it around.
Yeah. So I shared the link in Zoom to all these different proposals that Sergio made. So put them there as well. And if you do it today, then I'll send it to people from Linux Foundation, or then just ping directly Barbanio, because I'm not sure if she's watching this discussion. Okay, venue, marketing designs, items. Yeah. Missy? You there?
Hi.
Yeah. You wanna share something?
Well, we shared the conference website mockup in the community meeting, right? Was it? Don't
Yeah,
remember.
so I remember we shared. Yeah, it was during the community meeting. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. So just to update you folks, we shared it during the community meeting already on Tuesday. Actually, like Missy shared it. So, but the most important is please have a look at the proposal of the design, which looks lovely, by the way. So I'm gonna send you a link. I'm gonna send a link here in the chat. So looking on the to-do, we have their speaker cards discussion, because it's with speaker cards, it's all about the data, not just design. So I can update you that, yeah, from perspective of the tooling we're using for the schedule for CFP and information about speakers, we're using Linux Foundation services, like applications that they probably purchased from somewhere. And we, like last year, we had no access to any APIs. So I already gave some hints to Ace how we can figure if there's an API or what's the plan for the future to implement it, because there's a public community forum for Linux Foundation projects. So we're checking that, but did you already, like Missy, did you already start working on design for the speaker cards, maybe?
Not yet. I think maybe I just want to wait for, like, if there's more feedback on the like art direction of the conference website, because I feel like that's the main like hub of visuals right now. And then if we all like it, then I'll just move forward with that direction and like start building a template for speaker cards, which I believe Ace is making a JavaScript like generator of that. But I guess we need to decide too and talk about like how we're gonna extract that information from the Linux Foundation app.
Yeah.
Which we were briefly talking about today. Yeah. And that issue.
Yeah. So just I think I pinged you, Alejandra, there, but because like I'm gonna be out and you're coordinating CFP, and so speaker information, it's like the same. So just for information, like it happened this last year that we had a list of speakers, but half of it had no profile picture. and some of them were missing social media account information. So when you will receive information from Cecile about like this spreadsheet with all the proposals, and you will see like that some of them are missing some important like social information or profile picture information, then please like double check with her if she is the one that will contact speakers to update information, if we have to do it, like because that's something that is, I think, important, because the cards that we didn't have much time last year, and the cards that Missy was preparing, some of them had no profile picture, simply because we didn't have access to that, and there was no time to wait for speakers to update. So please, yeah, check with her how we can make sure that they update that. So there is a question from Alejandra. Is it possible you got blocked? That happened to Sergio before because he was not added to the account.
They're talking about sharing links in YouTube.
Yeah. Personally, I don't know what happened with this YouTube. All of a sudden, we started blocking any link you're sharing by default. So I'm adding people as approved users in YouTube so they can share them. But in case of Jonas, it didn't work. So yeah, let's talk offline how we can fix it.
Oh, I was wondering if I could actually ask a question to Missy. That's why I raised my hand.
Okay. Yeah. Don't do it.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry if I spaced out or didn't follow correctly, but Missy, how do you want to receive ideally from speakers their profile image for the cards?
It's a good question. So in the issue that we were talking about the speaker cards, I think it's in the conference website issue, but like if you need more context, but I'll explain it again. But I think the most ideal way is to just like extract that data like via an API, but I don't think that's possible. But I don't know if we already reached out to the Linux Foundation again about the app and to see if they made updates since last year. Like if there is like an endpoint that we can just like hook into so that we don't have to, so that I don't have to like sit in Figma and like make changes or whatever, that it's just like automatically generated with this JavaScript generator that like Ace said he was going to work on. But yeah, I guess if that's not possible, Lucas was saying that they can export a spreadsheet with all of that information, but we'd just have to like we'd have to manually like refresh everything, if that makes sense, like re-export it every time.
And so for the speakers because we know this is going to happen, there's always a shit ton, there's always a beep ton of speakers that don't add their picture to the platform. Like that always happens. So when that happens, like, would it be helpful if I pinged them and I said, hey, Missy still needs your image, like can Slack it over to Missy? Or is that just super messy for you and you don't want that?
I guess it just depends, like, because I think that they can add their profile picture within that Linux Foundation app. So that would probably be the best place to do it, because then it updates in the iframe that like we're going to import onto the website. So I would just probably remind them, yeah, to like update their profile on that app.
Okay, I'll do that. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks.
Yeah, so in case of API, so I already updated Ace how to figure out if the API is available or when it will be. So for now, it's pretty manual. But yeah, the best solution is like you can see now the old conference website and data coming from the app. But my network is super weird. Just let me go directly to the schedule link. Yeah.
Fran, your baby's eyes are like so open and attentive. Like, I think she's more awake than all of us on this call.
She just got presented some food by Eva, so that's why she was looking at the food like.
Oh.
So as you can see, this data that is available in schedule for last year, this data came from people that were submitting CFP because during the account creation, they were asked to provide profile picture. Some of them did not provide it. That's why we have these thumbnails generated with their initials. The best is like last year we were doing it, so it's definitely okay to bypass. So answering question from Alejandra, like it's totally okay if you bypass Linux Foundation when you already get a list of CFP people of people that submitted CFP. You will see their emails. So it's okay if you write them an email, introduce that you're organizing CFP at AsyncAPI, and you're basically asking them to update the profile. Because if you're going to go through a Linux Foundation, it's going to be slower. So definitely, I encourage you to do it. And the best is if they do it in the app, because it will also be visible in the final schedule. Yeah, to answer your question, there is a question or comment in the chat. So from Fran, Pedro Ramos said he had a chat with the people at Atico and they can host 100 people even perfectly. That's not much information in their website, but sharing just in case. Okay, I'll check that offline. You mean Atico is the location you mentioned before, right? That
Yes, Atico is a co-working, actually multiple co-working spaces in Madrid and Barcelona. So yeah, might be useful.
Okay, cool. Let's check that then. But can I ask you to update the discussion that I linked from the discussion from Sergio? So we don't lose this information.
Can you paste the link again? Because
yeah, sure. It's here.
Oh, there you go. I was looking at the conference to-do list.
Yeah, I said that this one particular discussion I forgot to link there. So yeah, I think with speaker cards, one thing is design, the other one data. I doubt we will have them from API. We will have them from the spreadsheet, and once the speakers confirm that they updated the profile picture, we will need to ask Linux Foundation to again refresh the spreadsheet. Yeah. Okay, presentation template. I don't see any coordinator for that. But I don't think, just correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think it's a big problem if we don't have, especially that many people prefer their templates, and we will anyway on the recording, we will have the overlays. So I think it should be fine if we don't have anyone driving that.
Yeah, I think it was just meant for those who aren't speaking on behalf of or just like from a company, you know, that already has a template. So it's not that huge of a task, I think, anyway. So I can prepare something.
Okay. And yeah, social media graphics and and yeah, I guess Missy, it depends on the design feedback.
Yep, correct.
Yeah, okay, makes sense. And string graphics the same. And yeah, we got till the end. Anyone, any questions, additional questions? We did something we did not cover today. Okay, you sure? Nothing? Let me check YouTube. Okay, nothing on YouTube. So because we don't have Sergio, but we have Fran. Like also offline, I'm gonna just to make sure. But I'm gonna also, because I put in touch Barbanio with the Linux Foundation person responsible for the venue. So I'll also like drop an email maybe to you, Fran, to Pedro, to Sergio, and maybe even Andrzej. Andrzej, who was here at AsyncAPI some time ago.
Andrzej Jartine, you mean?
Yeah, Jerzyna, yeah. I drop you a message like because like this Attico looks interesting. So maybe like, because I don't want to complain too much about Linux Foundation, but like because I imagine that they're just doing it in a professional way through some standards, how they contact venues, etc., etc. But maybe we can, like, if you especially know some locations that you can recommend, maybe we should bypass them and also directly basically talk to these people. And so I'll just put you in touch with Barbanio so she is aware, and that then she also will update Linux Foundation that we look for venues on our own as well.
I was just commenting on the discussion saying that whoever decides to call these Attico people, that, you know, make sure that you contact Pedro, because he used to work on a company that has the offices in the Attico co-working space. So so he knows the, you know, he knows the people working there, right? So he actually, one of them is his friend, his friend actually.
Okay.
So yeah, so it should be easy for him.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. But anyway, I will just inform Barbanio so she can inform Linux Foundation, because in the end, we need someone to sign contracts and do the stuff with the venue. So they will be the ones. So we just need to, always coordinate with them.
One more thing, since I joined late, and sorry for that. So as you Lucas know, I've been trying to reach out to some women so that they can submit, you know, a talk to the CFP. And yeah, so from here, I would like to encourage all of you, if you can do this process manually as well, like don't just shout out in social media that, hey, we're looking for people to submit, but to manually go to people, especially women who are underrepresented here, right? And encourage them to submit, and I'm happy to help them, to help anyone actually that needs help with submission. So yeah, not because we're gonna select people because they're women. Actually, it is one step before. So we encourage them to submit into the beginning of the funnel, so there are more chances that we have women at the end of the funnel, right? So yeah, and actually, I think whoever is selecting people don't see the name of the person, right? Am I correct?
So we
just discussed that earlier.
we discussed it, and it's basically something to decide in the discussion about CFP.
Okay.
I'm going to add that voting as well, so that people can vote exactly what you say, Fran, about not showing gender, the name, the company name. And then we're agreeing earlier that absolutely we all have our own biases. And so that we want to put it up for a vote to make it anonymous, to hopefully make the CFP process, well, I guess, I don't know what the right word is, not evil.
Okay. So yeah, so anyway, just like, let's make an extra effort just to see if we can increase the number of women submitting talks. And I will also say, like, not just women, but other underrepresented groups in tech, and also in AsyncAPI. But yeah, let's go step by step. We can start with women this year. And then once we solve this problem, we move to other underrepresented group. So yeah.
And also, I just finished helping all of the GSOD interns prepare their title and abstracts. So, you know, if anyone is like, if you run into anyone in the community, like Fran was saying, like a woman who's like, oh, I'm shy, I don't even know if I have a talk to give, like I can still volunteer more time this extra week that we have. And if somebody needs extra help, like you can set up a call with me. And I'm always helping people with developer relations and public speaking. So I can still help and volunteer this week if that helps at all. Is it okay to ask another question, or are we not done with this topic yet? Oh, does that mean
Fran,
yes?
yeah, Fran, do you have anything more to add in this topic?
I was wondering, and I hope I'm not judged because I know this question is, maybe it's not seen as important as all the other logistics that we have to deal with. But I really do think that a big piece of any conference is the excitement that people have to get their swag, right? So I was wondering, have I missed previous conversations because I wasn't able to join the other calls about deciding what swag items we'll have available for the conference? Because I actually had 2 people already ask me if we're gonna have Eve stickers. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm a big fan of Eve, but I also know Missy is super overloaded like all of us. And so I'm just curious, but I don't want to be annoying.
Yeah, so in the in the prospectus, like the prospectus for sponsors, we have dedicated add-ons that we shamelessly copied from other conferences. So add-ons that a certain sponsor can sponsor AsyncAPI t-shirts, AsyncAPI Conference t-shirts, and in exchange get the name of their company on the sleeves. And yeah, stickers as well. So that's definitely planned. I'm not sure how Missy is able to provide any custom design for the swags, but if not, then we will just go with AsyncAPI logo, a t-shirt, AsyncAPI logo, maybe additional text like AsyncAPI Conference. That's not decided yet, but yes, we want it, and we want someone to sponsor it.
I would say, I think if we have the budget for like a conference t-shirt, we could do that. Maybe just leave the year off of it. That way we can like reuse it for like every future conference in case we don't use all of them. But yeah, I mean, it could be something as simple as like that, like architectural blocky illustration that we have on the front of the website mockup. That was just an idea, but yeah, I think it's safe to have like stickers, like AsyncAPI, stickers. That way we can use them across different mediums and not just for the conference. But, if we do have budget for a conference specific design, I'd be down to just like put something simple together.
So I can't confirm 100%, but I recall from other conferences when I was watching them and seeing this idea of add-on for swags, I could see that these add-ons were the first ones that companies were buying and supporting in the conference. So I think it's with this one, we're pretty safe to get some dedicated budget. Did it answer your question, Alejandra?
Yes, cool. Thanks.
Okay.
I'm just super excited.
Yeah. And I also technically, because we have this work that Barbanio does on the AsyncAPI swag store, what we already know and have recommendation from Linux Foundation that they will provide a manufacturer for t-shirts for us in Spain, because larger amount of t-shirts that we would try to bring from US, from our swag store, that would cause some tax custom issues, etc. So what they do with other events, they basically buy swags in a given country where they organize the conference. So that's how we plan to do it. And I think, yeah, we still have time for this last question I see in the chat from Jonas. is there any safeguard in place so there won't be more in-person participating than what the venue can support? Is that even a concern? So that's actually, I have to start this discussion. I don't think we ever talked about it a lot. One safeguard is cost. Is the costs because the thing about the cost is like there's always this question like should we charge for the event for participants for the event to come to the event or not? And while in online events we were always in the position like it should be free, and we should cover everything from the point of view of from money coming from the sponsors. In person, my experience is we should not have it free. So that's definitely something that we need to discuss in public. I'm going to open a discussion today, and I'm super interested with your opinions on it. But I think that we have to set a price for a ticket, and it's a kind of safeguard. But also there will be a registration system that has limits, so it's also a safeguard. Even if we end up all of us agreeing that it should be free, then anyway there will be a kind of ticketing system. And there are some questions about security. Yeah, all these questions we will have to do with the venue, and that's why it's the best always to go through experienced company. That's why I always want to be in sync with Linux Foundation, because they check all these things, including rules for COVID for a given country, and what should we do, and then support in this area. So yeah.
Is there going to be, what was the question? Is there going to be a sign up deadline? So we don't really choose a venue before we know how many are participating in person? Or is that like, because let's say that within a week, then the 100 signups already done. If we then want to increase that,
that's a subject for discussion. So like there's nothing is written in stone. So we like assumed that it's first time we have 100 people, and we were looking for a venue that has 100 people. But if we select the venue and we see that like which would be amazing, that like after 1 week or even 2 weeks we get all the 100 tickets sold, then we should definitely sit to the table, especially with the venue provider, and see how much more people we can get in, and what do we think about it, if we should increase to the maximum or maybe actually don't or actually we should not do it. So but yeah, it's 100. The initial 100 was like I did this like, and it felt like 100, and it was needed to find a venue. But if eventually we're going to find a venue that can do 100 but can also do 150, let's discuss. But I think it makes sense definitely to extend.
I think, yeah, and I think that if we get more registrations than what the venue can allow, like, or what you said, Jonas, like in the first week we get the 100, and we are just seeing that we can get easily, let's say, up to 400, for instance. I mean, unless it's too late, we can always find a new venue, right? So, and we cancel the reservation with the initial venue, we find a new one to host a bigger event. And in Barcelona, I can tell you you can do this from one day to another, basically. So if you have if we already have the you know, the money from people paying to sign up, you already get the money, so you're already sure that you can get something, you know, bigger to accommodate all the people. So that is not a problem. The problem is the problem will be that we go for a 500, let's say, and we get only 20 people, right? So that will be a problem. So, but I mean, a problem, not a problem, because we have the money ready there. But yeah. But the opposite is like, if it happens in the first week, that's okay. We can always like increase the amount of people that can sign up. In the meantime, we'll look for a bigger venue. So that shouldn't be a problem. Hotels are usually already ready to accommodate even more than 200 people usually. So yeah, and there are many hotels in Barcelona, as you can imagine. So yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. But I'm not so optimistic as Fran, because like we need to also take into account that whoever bought a ticket could already buy a place in a hotel, so they could be surprised that the location changed, unless the location is on the same street. So we need to. So I just want us to be careful with changes after people start registering, because I recall from last year a big discussion that was there in about KubeCon, that the initial message was saying the place will be COVID safe and everyone will be required to wear masks. But then when people started registering, after some time they changed the message and said like, okay, we don't need to wear masks anymore, and people were very much upset because
but that's different.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, when you buy something and you expect like something close to your hotel, and then we change something to the other side of the so
I mean, you probably can get some people complaining, you return the money to those, and that's it. But not like half of the people who signed up are gonna complain that they're not close to the event, or they are a little bit. I mean, it's Barcelona. In the end, at most, it's gonna take you 30 minutes to get into the event, at most, and we will not. And if you choose the centric area, let's say. It might change from 5 minutes to 10 minutes or 15 minutes. So I don't think people will complain about that. But yeah, anyway. Just,
anyway, I hope we have this problem.
It's guessing. And I think we're gonna easily get to 100. I think that's my that's my gut feeling here. Because only in Barcelona there's a lot of tech community, and there's a lot of people already aware of AsyncAPI, and because of the talks that I did previously there when I was living there, and we were in a meetup, we were easily getting to 100 in a company meetup in the offices. So yeah, so I guess it's gonna be, it's different though, because it was free and there was free beer. So so then, yeah, well, it wasn't free, it was €5, but yeah, almost free. So yeah, and yeah, so I guess we're gonna get easily to 100, but I may be wrong. Let's see.
Okay. As I said, I hope we're gonna have this issue, but
Yes.
in the COVID era and in hype of online events, it's I think it's unpredictable. But yeah, I think we're 6 minutes of overtime anyway. Any final questions, comments? Okay, cool. No questions, no comments. Thanks a lot to all of you for joining again. And yeah, hear you in the most important information, like so yeah, I'm in next 2 weeks I'm out, and we were supposed to have these updates every 2 weeks, So please let me know. Like I'll still try to respond today or tomorrow. Like if you want to, because I'm just assuming I'm gonna organize this sync call in the week I'm back. But if you think it should be done in the second week of August, then please just let me know who wants to run it, and I'll let you know how to do it. So it can be done on the second week.
How about
of
Ace?
August.
How about Ace? Or I don't know if he's like doing a lot of this DevRel stuff or not.
He's not much involved in the conference, but he will just yeah, learn. Anyway, like I think the most important like here is to just have a discussion if you really want it. Like it's really up to you. So basically we still have time. Ace have accesses because he had to I asked him to run a community meeting in 2 weeks. So so he has all the rights to write other meetings. So just please I don't think we have to decide now during the meeting if we have to do it in 2 weeks. Just ask, like, actually, idea with Ace is great. So just please tell Ace to organize it next week for next week. I mean, like first week of August, for the next week of August, because we need to do it 1 week.
Yeah, I would
upfront.
say if there's like a lot of changes within the next week that we need to like report on, that would be too much to like wait any longer, then we can decide to schedule the meeting if needed.
Yeah. So
Especially for Ace, because like they both like turning on their cameras and they're both very talkative and like upright. So I'm like, yeah, there we go. I'm voting. Like one of those two people should do it.
I'll gonna in the meeting notes, I'm gonna, so basically this is the conference related meetings discussion. I'm gonna link it in Zoom. So that's a place where I'm gonna drop a message, write ping Ace, and yeah, and make him aware of it. So if you think next week that the meeting should be organized on the second week of August, then yeah, talk there.
Sounds good.
Okay. Time to go.
Great meeting, guys.
Thank you. Going forward.
Bye.
Bye bye.